Hey guys, this is Mike at Row Comics, and well, you know that if you subscribe to the channel. Um, Today, there was some news from Mr. George Perez, who, well, you'll see. On November 29th, apparently he after undergoing surgery for a blockage in his liver. They discovered that he has stage 3 pancreatic cancer that is surgically inoperable, and the doctors gave him between 6 months and a year to live. And there were options, of course, chemotherapy and all that other stuff, but sometimes the treatment is worse than the disease. And since the medical system in this country is what it is, um, you have to decide how you want to spend your remaining days. And he chose to just celebrate them with his family and go out on his own terms. Now, for me, I couldn't imagine something like that. But, this is his decision, and you respect it. And you just tell them how much that they have meant to your life. And um, for those of you that don't know, George, he started doing stuff for Marvel in the 70s. And he really hit a stride in the 80s with the new Teen Titans and Teen Titans and Tales of the Teen Titans and all the other stuff Titans related. But he also did Avengers and the X-Men, and he was all over the place. And that was a good thing because his art is incredible. It's fantastic. And see, today, everybody, and if you've ever seen a stream that I've been on, I say that um, everybody is, what's the word? Spoiled, I guess. Everybody knows, or everybody, there's so many options today, and you're inundated with so much product and content. And back in the day, you got what you got and you didn't get upset with it. And you were happy to get the things. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've read this book, like something like this or the Teen Titans. Um, it's just, you know, I can't. I'm struggling to say stuff because it's just, I don't know. I mean, look at this. He did a crossover with back when DC and Marvel were on kind of somewhat all right terms, I guess. Um, Superman is holding Mjolnir and Cap's shield, and he was the one to draw it. I've never met him. Come close. A couple years ago, there was a guy that lived across the street from the store, and he was putting on an event because there was a comic convention downtown, and he wanted to have a drink and draw. And he was like, I'm pretty sure this is from History of the DC Universe. He was like, you want to take part because there were bars and restaurants and all that. And I'm like, he's like, you are a comic book store. I'm like, yeah, I guess, sure, why not? So he's like, so look at the list of the people that are going to be there, and just get in touch with them, and maybe they can come in the night before or something like that, whatever. So I looked at the list, and George was on there, and that was my first choice. And I got in touch with him, and he said that unfortunately he had just had one of many eye surgeries, and that he wanted to like conserve his energy and his strength for the convention. And totally understood. I'm like, that's fine. So I went to my second choice, which was Phil Jimenez, who is very much a student of George's, and he came to the store and hung out the entire day, and it was really cool. But George's stuff, like, I mean, look at this. I don't have to talk about it. I just show it to you, and it's his Wonder Woman was incredible, incredible. And it's funny too because the people that are shitting all over the Historia stuff about being woke and SJW and all this other stuff, and it's like, have you ever read Wonder Woman? Do you know the history of Wonder Woman? Like, you know, what's in there is essentially what was in this. It's the history, but I'm not even going to get into all that nonsense. But he also was responsible in co-creating Deathstroke and designing the character. And there's New Teen Titans. Like I can't even. This is one of the reasons the Titans show pisses me off as much as it does, because this was at the time X-Men. Chris Claremont had rescued the X-Men. He saved the X-Men because when he took over, him and Len Wein, they were reprinting X-Men issues. Like, it was on the brink of cancellation, and then Len Wein came in, and then Claremont came in, and they rescued the X-Men. And at the time, they were number one. But when Marv Wolfman and George Perez did this book, it overtook the X-Men because it was that popular. And I know people say that, oh, I'm a Marvel fanboy and all that. Yes, I am, but I love DC too. I like them both. I can't help it that they can't get their universe in order as far as movies are concerned. But watching what they do to the Titans it just hurts my soul, like reading these books over and over again. And I don't know. I tried to in my head before doing, hitting streaming, to try to think of something that I could possibly say. I had like random thoughts in my mind, but I just, when you don't have a lot of stuff, and those of you that might not, for one reason or another, whether it's, financial situation or, the accessibility or something. And actually, even today, there shouldn't be an accessibility reason, because there's so many more ways to get this content. Now, mind you, it might not be the older stuff, but like the current stuff, the new stuff or whatever. Like, you got Wikipedia, you got Amazon, you got eBay, you got me, you got there's so much stuff, and it's so readily available, digital stuff and all this other stuff. But back then, you had the book, and that's all you had. And if you were missing an issue, well, I mean, granted, there were more comic book stores around than there are today, but it was just like the hunt, trying to fill in the gaps of the issues that you had, because you couldn't go to eBay and Google it up or whatever, and find it and just have it shipped to you. You had to do the work, and it made you appreciate the stuff that you had. Look, he even did covers for Star Trek. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I pulled up some of these, and you're gonna know this isn't the first. This is the first slideshow that I did, because I'm not gonna. I've already been rambling on for 9 minutes, but exactly, chill. Yes, but he has never, as I said on a tweet earlier today when I found out exactly what was happening with him, he has never met a blank panel that he couldn't fill with 1,732 characters or whatever. It was almost, it was like the precursor to Where's Waldo, because he would cram. I mean, look at how many Klingon ships are in here. There was an issue of there was a Avengers where he did a run with Kurt Busiek, and it was Ultron, and there were thousands of Ultrons. The story is awesome. The story is awesome. Kurt did a good job writing it, but what really did it for me personally was George's art. And when you see like his double page spreads are incredible, his art is just phenomenal. And you know, this here, this here. Let me tell you a short story. Um, I did a custom cover for Batman with Derek Chew, and it was the first Miracle Molly. But the first book I really wanted to do was this here, because there was a Black Widow #1. This is before Corona happened and everything like that. And I knew I wanted to do an homage. I was talking with some people. We wanted to do an homage cover. And since it was, Natasha, we wanted to do this one. This is the one I picked out because I'm like, it's got to be this. This is an iconic cover for me because it just is. It's George. And unfortunately everything fell through and Corona happened, and but I would have loved to have done this. But New Teen Titans, man. I can't if you are hearing my voice and you care anything about comics, seek out some of this stuff. Seek out some of the New Teen Titans. Like, it's just seek out any of George's Wonder Woman stuff. I mean, he was doing it until, God, I want to say maybe the 20s, maybe 30s, and then Jill Thompson took over. And oh God, Mindy, I can't remember her name. But George's stuff, he was also writing the book too. He wasn't just drawing it. I mean, look at this. This we've seen this. We've seen this in media. This was recently on the CW shows with the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. I mean, just so much. This is the other thing, okay? I'm going to watch Peacekeeper, but seeing Vigilante, like, I trust James Gunn. I do. But this book, I mean, Vigilante was a badass, okay? I'm not going to tell you how his story ends, but it was almost as if the Punisher, like, he was essentially the Punisher, essentially, except without, like, the trauma from, Vietnam or whatever. And it was also questionable, like, well, okay, wait, you got this hard-ass dude, why is it, and it was like, even with Deathstroke, too. Deathstroke, he's like a mercenary, and yet they have him in a book with teenagers trying to, like, kill the teenagers. Like, this was the 80s. Everything was, it wasn't, it was like the Wild West as far as stuff was concerned. But, I mean, look at this. This is, so I wanted to get on and at least share some stories or recollections or how you should appreciate things while they're here, or even just point out, hey, there's some shit out here you should check out, and this is it. I mean, look at this. Look at this. There are no words. I mean, you just look at it, and I'm amazed, truly. I have trouble drawing stick figures, so this amazes me. And then wait till I get to the next slideshow that I have. Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is one of the definitive. Okay, in DC versus Marvel, Avengers versus Justice League, they had moments where characters squared off against each other. This is Captain America versus Batman. And this is one of the greatest fights, in quotes, in all of comic book history. And it's George. George with his layouts. George with just his art, man. Look at this. This is when Tim Drake joined the Bat universe. And there's the Crisis. This is in black and white. I think I might have one more. Yeah. And there he is, self-portrait. So we're going to get into this next one here. There's a couple more. And then I'm going to wrap it up because I wanted to do this earlier, but things got hectic over here. Look at this. Look at this. You could spend hours looking at all the different characters that are in here and the way they're lining the border. I mean, I don't know. This is just, you know, oops, sorry about that. This was a panel from Teen Titans. Here we have the cover of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, definitely. I sorry, I don't know what's up, Justin. If you do the, yeah, I don't like saying like oh like, subscribe, hit the bell, blah blah blah. But I mean, if you hit the bell, hopefully it'll work. I mean, YouTube, I have heard. I mean, as a viewer myself, I have heard that people say that sometimes notifications don't go up or something. I mean, I didn't even get. Usually, I get a notification that I'm going live, which is really weird and stupid. But this time I didn't, so perhaps that's it. I don't know. But it's good you're here. I mean, I'm gonna leave it up so you can see. But you guys, if you care anything about comic books or anything you watch, this was the most recent book that Marvel put out of his. But you owe it to yourself to check out anything that he has done. Anything, even his own stuff. He did a couple books. I have. Where is it? Crimson Plague was one. It's over there. I should have grabbed it or put some, but I was just like literally on Twitter grabbing images from there all day in between dealing with nonsense. Here's another look at the Avengers. I actually think I have this. I might have this in the store. I think Marvel gave this to the stores, now that I think about it. But some of this, I mean, this is just. Someone suggested that Marvel and DC put their shit together. I mean, aside rather, and get together and put this stuff back in print because, I mean, this to know that this is out of print because of the politics and the ridiculousness. I mean, there were stories about exactly why DC and Marvel will never cross over again, and it's really ridiculous and stupid. And it's more about ego than the appreciation for these characters and the art. It's ridiculous. So the fact that this isn't in print anymore, like right now, once you get done listening to me, go to eBay, do a search, find a collection, find the issues, whatever you have to do, DC versus Avengers, at least if you care about either universe, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And just his art is just appreciate it. And then go back and get some Avengers stuff, get some Teen Titans, get his he did I'm trying to remember what company it was for. It was Crimson Plague. It was in the 90s that he did this book. But I can't remember what company it was. It was an indie book. Let me see. Plague. I should have had this already. Yeah, there were only 3 issues. And I can't see the company. Oh, Event Comics, which I believe was, I want to say Joe Quesada's comic line, if I remember. But seek that out. I mean, just do a Wikipedia search, do something, find some stuff. There's the man himself. And I'm missing a. Let me see where it is. There's Thanos. Here's a double page spread he did for the X-Men. This was their 80s, like I would say like 85, 86 incarnations, because you see Cyclops and Jean Grey there. That's their X-Force, or sorry, X-Factor costumes. And Angel is Archangel there, and Rogue. You can tell just by Rogue alone. But Psylocke was still Betsy. She wasn't Asian yet, which sounds really weird to say. But yeah, there's more Avengers versus Justice League stuff. This was in a JLA book. This here, this was, I believe, Future Imperfect, which was a future story that was written by Peter David. This here alone would drive you crazy with all the Easter egg stuff in here. I mean, because look, you could see hanging up. You got Nova's helmet, Magneto, Black Knight. There's Thor's. There's Silver Surfer's surfboard, Mjolnir. There's Cap Shield. You got a Sentinel head over there. Like, the detail for some of the stuff that he would do is just incredible. He also did the covers for Who's Who, which was basically like the handbook for the DC universe. Marvel had one too, but he didn't do the cover for that. But his stuff is just incredible. Look at this. Look at this. The Flash is running right next to Beast from the X-Men. Superman, Thor. Like, find this image and make sure it's as in HD as possible and just pour over every square inch. And I guarantee there's got to be at least 200 to 300 characters in this one picture right here. It's incredible. Incredible. This is an image he did for Pearl Harbor, which was yesterday. He didn't do it for yesterday, but I mean, he did it before. And I believe this was probably in the history of the DC universe. There was, I think it was 2 issues or 3 issues that he did. And they were a prestige format thing back in the 80s. And I think there's one more right now. Just his pencils. And mind you, all of this stuff that he did, everything I've shown you, every single image that I've shown you was done by hand. There were no tablets. There was no computer, no Photoshop. That was all hand drawn. It's just incredibly astounding. This here I saved for last because I had this poster. Unfortunately, I no longer do. But this was hanging up in my wall for 10 years. And during the days when I was young and I would read comics, like, just seeing this, like, I can't even. Anyways. So please, I urge you, if you care anything about comic books, like, you know, if you're on YouTube and you create content based on Marvel or DC or anything comic book related, find something of his. Find it, buy it. You will enjoy it. You will enjoy the art. You will enjoy the stories because he worked with a lot of really good writers. I realize today everything is like kind of sketchy and some people don't necessarily live up to standard, but he worked with some good people. And especially, like, you know, with Marv Wolfman, they were in the zone. They were in the zone with the Teen Titans. And yeah. It's not all, you know, I just. He did say, that he has business matters to take care of before he goes. He's already arranging with his art agent to refund money that were paid for sketches. He said, though, that despite only having one working eye, he can still sign his name. So he's hoping to coordinate one last mass book signing to help make his passing a bit easier. And he also hopes that he'll be able to make one last public appearance where he can be photographed with as many of his fans as possible with the proviso that I get to hug each and every one of them and say goodbye with their smiles as well as tears. So hopefully that can happen. The link to the statement that was released on Facebook. Facebook is going to be the place where a lot of industry people have already responded to it, but that's a place you can go and see what's there. And if you happen to be someone who I'm just preaching to, because you're the choir and I'm preaching, and you know how much this man has done for comic books, then head over there and let him know what he has meant to you. Because when there wasn't a lot of stuff out, and there wasn't the internet and all this other stuff, and you had to do things through the mail, and just there wasn't sensory overload, and he was there. He was there for me, and he's one of my favorite artists, and it really sucks. And I don't want to compare it to other people who I don't necessarily think are, deserving, but it seems like, at least on this planet, the people, it's no pickle. Can't, because yeah, his art is just, I just, all time, all time. But so yeah, I would urge somebody, if you don't know who George Perez is, if you've never seen his art, I grabs they've been doing reprints for the Avengers stuff at Marvel and DC. There, I'm sure there's Teen Titans stuff that's available. I mean, I know I have a couple books, um, but if you want, get in touch with me, and I will do my best to see whatever the distributors have, and I will hook you up with some good stuff. I mean, I don't. It's difficult because I know a lot of you guys, and we've known each other through YouTube and stuff like that, and you're located in interesting. Yeah. I'm praying that it's in New York, because if he does announce it, I'm gonna definitely have to go there. Um, but most of the people I've met, like, were scattered across the globe and all that. And so I know you can't come in here, but when I recommend something, I do recommend. I haven't hit that point, and I probably should, because I wouldn't be in certain situations that I find myself in. But I haven't hit that point where oh yeah, you're gonna like this, just buy it, just because I want to sell it. I literally recommend things that I feel comfortable in recommending. Like something like Craven's Last Hunt, or Crisis on Infinite Earths. Even though I will, give you a thing where, like, okay, well, you need to know this to appreciate the story or something, or like Avengers Academy, or trying to cross both companies and stuff like that, or even like Image stuff or whatever. But like, I will not just oh no, it's just George Perez, just get it because of that. Like, the majority of his stuff has been really good. There hasn't been any circumstance, and I know sometimes, because people are like, well, what do you like better, art or story? And I know sometimes good art can elevate a poor story, and vice versa. A good story can elevate poor art. But like, there were rarely, if any, things. I mean, because at the end, even if the story was, you had Perez's art, so it just, that was it. So again, the link to the statement and to the page is in the description down there. And I definitely, you guys need to check it out. I mean, you know, you should. Your life will be better for it. He also did, if I remember correctly, or was it Byrne? An X? No, it was him. It was him. It was they did an X-Men Teen Titans crossover. Yeah, that was him. I remember the cover. It was a double page. Let me see. Let me just make sure, because it was written by Claremont. Oh no, it was Walt Simonson. Sorry, but um, yeah, no, that's Walt. My bad. I just trust me though. Seek something out, George Perez's, and you know you'll enjoy it. Anyways, that's it. I'm done. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, Mr. Perez, and hopefully I'll see you.